possibly be where it came from. But she said she has 15 students so far, and then she's expecting another 15 students to obviously be before them.
Paul, Cody, Corey.
Well, I am kind of uncomfortable with this entire thing, especially if it does provide dinner for the lawyers at all. At the same time, I have a question. How much do we spend on our banquet at the end of the year? Per person, roughly, or per last year? Roughly per person. I'm not sure.
Not that much.
I mean, I don't think it's 20-something I have, but I was just curious, like, how much it comes out to be for it. It's probably in 15 range.
It's about like $400 to feed that group of people in Sedexa, and that's with
Okay, then yeah, that's still a lot more.
Yeah.
Cody, Corey, Emily, John.
This is a bit of a shot in the dark, but is there any chance we can get a kind of guaranteed attendance on the amount of lawyers showing and kind of put that off and make sure we know?
Also, remember, the questions are supposed to be about the amendment. So, please keep that in mind.
In that case, never mind.
Were your all's questions about the amendment?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, Emily.
So are we proposing that we only pay for the students, we don't pay for the speakers that they're having at their meetings? Is that what you're saying?
We're assuming that, you said you have about 15 students per term, but you're leaving room for 15 more. So, I mean, they may not have even 30 students, and if that's including already the lawyers and the judge, unless the extra $300-something
Well, we know
was
it's not
supposed to be
including the judges and the lawyers. We only know that they're expecting 30 students, and the $700 would include just the students.
Did they mention that in the request,
Did
that
they
they
mention-
wanted it to cover the meal for the judge and the attorneys?
She did not mention that. We asked for just for the students, and so she said.
Wouldn't you just assume that you would pay for a meal? You can't invite, yeah. We're not paying for your food. But the amendment is now, we're only paying for students' meals, not
So-
the speakers' meals. Is that what I
It's for a
understand?
total of 30 is what we calculated it up to, which came to 714.
And they're expecting 30 students. And we're only paying 30.
That's right.
So do
All
you
other-
suggest providing the full $1,000 for a dinner with guests?
I suggest paying for the speakers that they're inviting to the dinner.
Paul had a question.
I moved to call the question on the amendment.
Okay, moving to the question. All in favor of approving the amendment to change the appropriation amount to $720, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
Nay.
Are there any abstentions? Okay, in the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it. We're amending it to $720. Now, we're discussing whether or not to approve a $720 appropriation request. Jared, Cody, Corey, John.
So one of the things that I tell constituents that I've never said in front of SGA is SGA is a Rube Goldberg machine for free food. I held an event this past weekend and there was lots of free food, but there was an event. This is kind of missing the Rube Goldberg part of the free food and just skipping straight to the food.
Paul.
I agree with Jared. I'm going to move to table this indefinitely.
Second.
Okay.
Does that mean
Is
we're
there any
gonna-
discussion about tabling?
Is there any chance we could just push it off until we can get an idea of how many speakers or guests will be attending, rather than just deleting it completely?
Yeah, I mean, that's tabling it. I mean, we can always bring it back.
Okay, so we're not just destroying it, we're just putting it off till
We're
we
just
get
putting it off.
guaranteed attendance. Okay, I'm all for that. I'm seconding.
Emily and then Corey.
When is their meeting that they're planning on having?
It's gonna be the 31st, so, do we have a Senate meeting the week after spring break?
Yeah.
So we'll have one more Senate meeting before then, so we can have them come back again. We've already had them come back once before, we just felt like they didn't provide enough information, so, we can have them come back one more time before their actual event, and have them, since they'll be on campus next time too, they'll be at the actual Senate meeting.
Corey, then noted.
First off, point of inquiry, are we actually discussing the tabling right now?
Yeah, we're discussing the tabling.
And then second point of inquiry, shouldn't the people that have been already pointed to be discussed, should they finish discussion before we talk about the tabling?
Paul was before the people who had.
Right.
The motion takes precedent on the floor.
Megan.
Okay.
would say that when you're planning an event, you choose, if you have a certain amount of money, you can go forward with the event. If you don't have that money, you can't go forward with planning your event. And if that be the case with this event, if they are not getting the funding that they requested here, do we know that it's still going to happen without our help? If that is not the case, if it will not happen without our case, I urge the Senate not to table this, if it needs to be decided upon. If it's still gonna happen without our help, then I agree to table it.
Paul?
However, I still think that misses the ethical implications of providing a $23 a head meal to a bunch of students. I mean, people pay students fees not to subsidize these kinds of meals. And I think they need to justify it more before we approve it.
Okay, Sarah?
I support the motion table personally because I feel like none of us are really fully comfortable passing this, and I think we need a lot more information about the logistics of the event and how many people are actually attending, and whether or not this will cover the judges' meals and the lawyers' meals. So I think we need more information before we can vote.
Is there any further discussion? Sean?
This is a question. I'm wondering, instead of tabling it, can we consider a different reasonable amount and then see if they want to count it and go beyond that on their own? But basically give a reasonable, ethical, sound amount support.
But if they counted it, that would still require Senate approval of the next meeting.
Kyle?
I feel like I'm with Megan, at least on this. They're sending out RSVPs, and it's only a week and 2 days before their actual event. So that's either gonna postpone them sending out last minute RSVPs, which have already sent out to people and they're already getting in, or they're gonna have to contact all these people who are planning on coming to the event and hearing a judge speak and then saying, sorry, we don't have enough funding for it, you're gonna have to pay for it out of pocket, or, sorry about your luck.
Amber, Paul, Justine.
I was just gonna say we should essentially, I'm agreeing a little bit with Sam here. We should essentially do the parent approach with it. We give them a little bit of money, say you can have this. If they need more, they can always ask for more, but at least they have some guarantee to them. And they can go ahead and hold their event. If they're gonna require more to be able to hold it, they can always ask for more. Just like, it's essentially the same thing as a child asking a parent for money.
Paul?
While I do think it's still suspect they're only asking us 2.5 or so weeks before their event when they're asking for 23 ahead, I'll withdraw my motion and instead move to approve them for $500.
Okay, there's...
Second.
Okay, now we're opening the floor to discussion on an amendment to change the appropriation amount to $500. Is there any discussion about the amendment?
Is this leaving it open for them to come back with more requests if they need more funding at the next Senate meeting?
For information, they actually have asked us before and we've tabled it until it's time to get more information, which we didn't have tons of representatives there and I'm the only one, so the proxy that was there that's here now. So.
Emily and then Sarah.
How much would $500 pay per person? I know the request is now $500. How much would that pay? How many people would that be? Less than what? 500 divided by 30.
16.6.
16 ahead, yeah.
It would pay for 16 people?
16 ahead.
At $23.80 ahead, it would cover 21 people.
At 23, which is what they suspect it would be.
Yeah, $23.80 ahead.
Or it would ask for a donation of $7 from each of them for their own meal.
Sarah, Cody, Jared, Justine.
Just a point of inquiry, how long have they been in limbo? Like, when did they originally come to SGA
They
for funding?
originally submitted it not this Senate meeting, but it would we had reviewed it the one before this one. So it would have been the last Senate meeting we reviewed it, and we tabled it because back then they didn't have any numbers for how many people they were coming in. So we tabled it, and she came back today. So they've had 15 people RSVP. They're expecting 15 more. And back then they didn't have a location as to where they were going to do it or what they were going to be segregating.
I say we just give them the 700 because we know that's what's going to cost for all the students, and then at the next Senate meeting, when they give us a guaranteed attendance of how many speakers there will be, if they need more money, we can give them the money then.
Jared.
I move the question.
Okay, we're moving to the question. Now this is just the amendment, so all in favor of amending the appropriation request to $500, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
Nay.
Call for division.
Second.
Megan. All those in favor, please raise your hand. Okay. All opposed? Okay, the ayes have it. Now we're moving to the question of approving this appropriations request at $500. Is there any discussion? Corey, Jared. Corey, go.
I'm actually curious, anybody that's actually been in the Senate a long time, if you have the answer to this, but is there like a precedence for actually having a dinner with no, obviously, I don't think the lecture is continuing there from my understanding, or any charity or fundraising kind of preference. I'm just kind of, has in the past have we paid for a dinner for an RSO without them doing any kind of fundraising or getting any kind of benefit to the community for the RSO itself?
If someone has an answer to that, they can quickly answer that.
Yes.
Okay. Jared.
I move the previous question.
Second.
Okay. We're moving to, well, do I need a discussion?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or no, there's no debate.
No debate for moving.
Okay. We're moving to the question. All in favor of approving the $500?
No, we're voting to vote.
Okay. All in favor of moving to the vote, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Are there any abstentions? Okay, we're moving to the vote. All those in favor of approving the appropriations request at $500, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
Nay.
Are there any abstentions?
Abstain.
Okay, looks like the appropriations request is approved at $500. Next piece of business is Senate Resolution 2010-11.11.
Well, that was actually a miswrite on the thing. It was supposed to have sponsored it, not offered it. Travis actually offered it, so I'm going to let him have it for it. That was kind of sponsored it, he didn't make it tonight from the people.
I was in the D board meeting, which is why Steve did so well before I got here. Sorry, you're with me now.
I move to approve SGA Resolution 2010-11.11.
It's a first reading.
So we're all
Can we still not?
Jerry.
Can I come down and chat about it?
Yeah, yeah.
There, I'll go next.
I move to suspend the rule. I move to waive
Well, let's let
the.
him off.
Okay.
Sorry.
Calm down.
But we brought donuts for everybody. So we might be here for a little while. It's on pass.
These come out of the SGA budget?
In the meantime, does anybody need this? A copy of what we're discussing? If you need one, you get it now or you don't get it. You all have I'm sorry. Y'all can just give me my parents. But I was like, how do you